Alright, Chris Kugler here. Welcome back to another developer session. So we are continuing our attack all QTE, and where we left off we had the QTE visuals all set up. We'd restructured some parts of our QTE command factory to rely on QTE objects that were not pulled but instead prefabricated instances. And we added this iPrefab dictionary that we can use to look those up from within the scene. Now, we have not tested any of this code, which is, we're a couple parts in now. It's, we've gone a little while without actually running. So we just need to add the skill that the player is going to execute in order to use this QTE and attack all of the enemies. And, fingers crossed, we'll see if it works. Probably not going to. Very rarely do things work the first time, let alone things that you are making a lot of updates in a variety of places. The risk of, changes in one spot affecting other things is very minimal, just because the way I've kept my code kind of separated and, very loosely connected. But we'll go into our player skill controller. So we got our player skill controller, and we have a skill repository somewhere. Now, it's been quite a while since I've added any new skills, so this will be a exercise in, just kind of remembering the things I wrote. So we got our skill dictionary, passive and active skills. So we're going to add a new active skill. Skills.add. We'll just call it swipe attack for now. I don't know what it's actually going to be called, but active skill key is equal to swipe attack, display name with a space in it, description, a sweeping attack that hits multiple enemies in a row. SP cost is going to be 15. Usage requirement. Required focused enemy is true. Usage is going to be in battle. No prerequisite skills. XP cost will be 1,000. I don't know. Not really worried about being able to buy the skill at the moment, since for testing purposes we will be adding it to our player. So swipe attack. I want to get our player, and way up here at the top we have our load skill test data. This dot unlock skills dot add that attack, and we're going to go ahead and just bind this up to one of our skill bars. We'll hook that up to the left trigger, B button or Y button. Yeah, we'll leave that at the Y button, or B button rather. So we'll have our swipe attack, and in our player skill controller, can use battle skills. One of the triggers being pressed, get the skill that that is equipped to that slot, get that skill from the repository. Can we use the skill? Our SP cost is greater than, or rather, the SP cost is not greater than the player's current SP. Our requirements are met with usage and focus. Yeah, other than that, so that's fine. Use the skill. We're going to deduct the SP. Player stamina becomes 0. And we've got a few things here. Case that. And let's see here. Target enemy is equal to player instance focused enemy. let's see here. The repository is not equal to null. QTE command factory, sure. Okay. I mean, quite frankly, that's never going to be the case. So we're just going to go down here. This dot is using skill is equal to true. And there'll be some, we'll do some cleanup afterwards because a lot of this stuff is going to get repeated. We'll probably end up wrapping it around, you know, this whole switch statement. Start coroutine, repos.show QTE. What did we call it? The key is the key in the prefab pool. So that's going to be this thing. Simon says attack QTE, which also will need to go back and, boy, stop popping up. We'll need to add this to the data section with all of our strings in it. So our target is going to be null. It's going to be a, it handles its own stuff. New, Simon says input enemies is equal to, so we want the focused enemy and all the enemies to the right of where the player's looking. So player.instance.focused enemy. And what do we get here? We have our enemy collection. And this is in order left to right. For now anyways. And it's an IEnumerable, so we don't get a index. But I do know that it's a list. However, because it's an IEnumerable, we can, using system.link, and dot, we have an element at where we can use the index to get an item, but we do not have an index of because that's a member of iList, not IEnumerable. However, we can say, what can we say? So skip while takes a enemy battle info, so skip while should return an enumerable of the remaining items once we reach our focused enemy. So we're going to skip all the items until our we're going to skip while enemy is not equal to focused enemy. Then we're going to select all the remaining enemies and then to array it. And that should give us the remaining targets. we'll see in practice how that works out. So we have targets. And that, I believe, was the only thing in our Simon Says attack all input. Engage button. It's going to be null. I mean, I meant to go back and remove that from the parameter list for the method. Bool can engage. We can engage. So here's the trick. The engage is fired by. Is it fired by the by our update? Yeah. No, it's fired when our engagement requirement is met. So if we can engage is null or can engage check. So in this case, I think our criteria is just going to be null, because I think that our QTE is handling whether we can engage or not. On complete, what do we want to have happen? Well, we need to attack all the enemies that were actually successful. So result. We'll come back to that in a moment. On interrupt, do I want to do anything with that? I mean, I guess we want this is using skill to be false. Vector 3.0. I should really default those. There we go. So in our result set, if Simon Says attack all result dot successful hits. If hit enemies is not equal to null and hit enemies length is greater than 0, then for each enemy en in hit enemies and we're going to go ahead and do one of these. We're going to start a coroutine, focus en.on damage, and the attack power is going to be, you know what, we'll just go ahead with normal attack damage times 1.5 for now. I mean, obviously when I come back around to do some of the game balancing and the difficulty adjustments and all that, we'll come back here with real numbers. But quite frankly, this is just to test the QTE more than anything. And is using skill is equal to false when the QTE is complete. And that should be it. While I'm thinking about it, though, we'll remove that engage button and default vector 3.0. Okay. Hence why I probably tried to do that in the first place and completely failed because of that reason. So that's fine. So these are we're gonna get a couple build errors because we no longer provide this. That should be build successful. So let's see what happens. Oh, we got some errors already. Face button prompt is not attached. Enemy UI manager. Yes, because I changed my mind about that. Decided to go with the prefab even though it's extremely lightweight. So first off, object pool, face button, pool, prompt, and those are all there. They look alright. Prefabs, we got that guy. Alright, let's do it. So first off, we need an enemy. We need enemies that are more than one. Well, we can do a swipe attack. Exception. Value does not fall within the expected range. Use skill, active skill, blah. Start coroutine. So value does not fall within the expected range. Guard QTE could not be created because why are we creating the guard QTE? QTE object with key guard QTE could not be created. Am I missing something here? Argument exception. Value does not fall within the expected range. It'd be nice if I had more of a let's try a different skill first. You know what? Like before we go chasing down jumping down the rabbit trail here. Let's first off guard QTE. So that thing yelled at me pretty hard. Actually, we'll attack. So it created the attack, it created the guard, but I'm still getting this log error. Oh, well, because I'm an idiot. But that's okay. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you knew that. So first things first. That's fine. Now, let's get back in here. So we got enemies. We know attack works. We know that, let's see about, so I hit my guard. So bash and stun bash do not work at all. I'm getting nothing from that. Okay, that was interesting. So something got royally messed up there. So left trigger and right trigger are both showing the exact same skills, which is a problem. I wonder why that is. I mean, player, all these load test datas. So we added the skill, swipe attack. These three are only equipped to the first skill bar, and this one's only equipped to the second. That's correct, and that showed up on the skill equipped screen as well as the status screen. Our overlay HUD, face button HUD, default button layout has that. Default overworld layout has that. Update. Proposed phase. Proposed phase is equal to left trigger. Oh, because I made this change a little while ago. That's why. So, that'll happen. A little bit of untested code running around there. So, yeah, so now we see dashes there and works. Our left trigger is going to be bash, stun bash, and swipe attack. So, stun bash worked. Our guard QTE. Alright, so we hit for that much. Let's fail the QTE. Yeah, clearly that worked. Bash, same exact thing. So that's all fine and dandy. Let's go ahead and get another 2 enemy combat attack, and let's swipe. Absolutely nothing. So that's fine. So we'll go ahead and hit our we'll hit some debug log statements, and we'll see where we're failing. So first off, we show QTE. Let's go ahead and log our key just to make sure we're getting in here. And if our QTE object is not equal null, let's go ahead and QTE object created. And let's go ahead, Simon says attack all activate. Now, second step here. Face button prompt is the name of the pool object that I'm looking for. Face button prompt, and that's associated with this face button prompt, which is here. We should allegedly be attaching that to the enemy's QTE. So let's double check also. Prefab. Simon says attack all thingy thing. QTE command factory, that's looking it up by the key, which our player skill controller it's exactly the same. So let's go ahead and run that again, and after I initiate the skill, we'll see what our debug log says. And we'll also pause the game and take a look and see if there's anything visually that should indicate what's up. So we didn't hit anything in our log. And there's nothing there. So once again, value does not fall within the expected range. And naturally I'm out of SP, so my clicking the button over and over again doesn't really help. Value does not fall within the expected range at use skill. So we are literally blowing up here. So what's up? Key parent is null. Am I throwing an exception if parent's null? No, there's nothing going on there. And also the call stack's not even getting in there. Targets. It must be blowing up here. Like this must be the issue. Right? Well, oh yeah, it gives me the line number anyways. That's line 87. No, line 87 is this. Targets. So we'll debug log targets.length. We shouldn't be hitting result yet, but you know what, like, quite frankly, we'll see. So we have one enemy, we know that from our log. A little more information would be nice. So we know that we're not hitting the QTE completion. But the exception is firing before this. So it's definitely in our pass-through. So what's up? Value does not fall within the expected range. I mean, am I throwing that? Or is that internal to something? If I was throwing it, I'd be seeing... I'd be seeing some stuff, right? I mean, value does not fall within the expected range is the standard response, I believe. Like, I always throw actual informational argument names or stuff like that. Function bool can engage is null, on complete, on interrupt, vector 3, and quaternion. I mean, I guess when in doubt, right? Let's go ahead and step through. This might get a little weird with the monitor switching, but it's kind of is what it is at the moment. So it switches back to monitor 1 while we're debugging. So get item targets is equal to both targets. That was not remotely helpful. Let's try that again. That was also not remotely helpful. Yeah, it's not like I'm accidentally passing in the second parameter or anything. I mean, what kind of things can I expect this on? damn. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to edit a lot of this video out because, quite frankly, I need to spend some time figuring this out. All right, welcome back. Sorry, little annoying issue there. So, I'm still not quite sure what exactly happened. Like, I don't know, but I ended up in my player skill controller. I ended up moving. There was something going on with like local variables getting trampled within this switch statement. So I ended up moving my my skill usages into separate methods, and that got me past it for some reason. Like I really didn't change anything else. It's incredibly perplexing and quite frankly a little bit disturbing if there's something going on with like I don't know, the way coroutines are ran or something that's outside of my reach at the moment that caused some very sporadic issues. Like, I mean, I even went to the extent of restarting Unity just in case there was some bug in the editor that was causing it. So, I'm not quite sure exactly what's going on, but either way, we're past that now, and, you know, ready to proceed with our testing again. So, I only went so far as to verify that the error was no longer happening. I do know for a fact, though, that we're still not showing the QTE correctly. And what I gathered before I started the recording again was that our image has the sprite being set to it, but it's never becoming visible. So we do need to address that. But we are hitting our you can see our Simon Says activate is being hit. We are getting into the activate on the QTE class. It's just we're getting this face button prompt, set image. Wherever the heck we're doing that. Set image. This is getting set. Game object is getting activated. But quite frankly, our this .gameObject.active. We had the images disabled. I'm thinking maybe we don't need to. Like, where's my prefabs? There's prefab, QTE, face button prompt. Yeah, we have this image is not enabled. I think that's not really necessary. And, I mean, quite frankly, we'll this .gameObject.active or false. And we'll see what happens there, and what the remainder of our issues end up being. So let's grab ourselves an enemy. We will use the skill. There's our prompt. I pressed the button and nothing happened. And I can still execute other things. So there were some log errors in there. So what do we got here? So array index is out of range. Simon Says attack 44. Yeah, so if we get button down, we up this, we blew up here. If this dot current index is less than this dot button input order dot length. So if we are now, it should always be equal to, because we're going to stop here, but regardless, we'll check if it's greater than. Then this dot engagement is met. So there's me hitting Y and B, and then it blew up. But the Y worked, I think, and it popped on over. So object reference not set to an object on input criteria.enemies. Well, yeah, that would help. Looks like we're getting way closer though. You know, which is very promising, especially after those shenanigans. That always really bugs me and frustrates me when there's an issue that is resolved because of randomness. You know, like I didn't actually do anything. So that was me failing the prompt. I hit Y instead. Now hitting A fails the prompt, but it also triggered me into attack, which is not great. But I got a feeling we're going to need to fix a few things, right? Like that's not exactly a mystery. So there we go. So another null reference exception. Get results. Gets called after our engagement is done, which means input criteria is now null. I really just gotta, knock that crap off. So input criteria on disable. Where'd you go? There you go. Just forget that. I'm not going to worry about that being null or not. I'm going to reset it every time I activate anyways. So it's really not that big of a deal. Now, 28th time is the charm? I don't know. I was going to say third time, but I'm pretty sure this is the fourth now. Swipe attack. A. Obviously some issues because we keep popping up the attack prompt. Array index is out of range. So that should hit 0, 1. So let's log our current input index. And we'll proceed. So it is 2, just like I thought. Because we increment past the success point. However, that also begs the question because our attack prompt should not be able to come up while that is using skill is true. So that time it worked. Sort of, maybe. So, but why is our attack coming up? I don't trust that until that QTE is not popping up. So, our player skill controller, our use swipe attack sets using skill to true, and we set it back to false here. Problem is, this is, player skill controller is using skill, and we are exposing this in a property because our player.canAttack should be using this. Our escape battle controller is looking at it. Our player.canAttack is not. So there's the reason. That's an easy fix though. Player can attack. Right. Bada bing, bada boom. Now let's get back in there. Let's get those bunnies. Let's get those bees. Now we should see one attack, Y, and away it went. Great. Let's get in there again. Let's hope for an A button this time. So it did fire once I failed the prompt, which is a different issue. Oh, good thing I left those buttons in there to re-up my SP. So X. Now let's, come on, B. There we go. Swipe attack, A. Excellent. Now let's get another one and let's fail the second prompt. Swipe attack, X, Y. Failed the entire thing. Let's try that again. A, Y. B, A. Yeah. Alright. So there's that. Am I setting my current back to 0 on the interrupt or something like that? Where's my skill set? Current input index. Update, blah. Activate sets it to 0. Get results. Interrupt doesn't do anything in regards to that. So presumably we're getting in here. Well, I guess if we're interrupting, we're not on completing, and therefore we're not getting the results. Which is, you know, that's one of my scenarios, was allowing or disallowing a partial success with the QTE. So I'm okay with it working that way for right now, that it just fails if I miss any of the prompts. I can come back afterwards and take care of that. But what about that attack prompt coming up? So I mean, really, the problem's this. Now, the question is, though, the way Unity's input works. Well, actually, so there's the thing I was just about to say is, can they cheat with these button ups and just press all 4 face buttons and then release them all and have it trigger? But we're also going to hit this and interrupt anyways. But with a partial, that's a problem. So we're going to leave that as button down. So if they button down any other QTE prompt other than the one that they're looking for, will fail. But we wait for the button up on the successful one. And that should then, if our A button is one of our button ups, that will force the attack QT to not show up. Now we won't know about that until we get a set of enemies with more than one thing here, and our leading button is an A. Now obviously that's a different failure point, that my pressing A mistakenly triggered the QTE. Excellent. Now it does trigger if the last one is a failure. So let's see here on our player skill controller. What we want to say actually, let's go and do that as a button up. Let's see if we can game the system here like this. Yeah, I think we're good. I think that's working out fine. All right, I think that that about covers everything for our QTE. I mean, obviously, there's some more stuff we need to do with it to support various various features and behavioral differences. But I think for the gist of it, that kind of settles the whole issue for the most part. So thank you for watching and take care.